All right, so today is still Thursday, July 24th, and I'm going to keep going. Like I said, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. So if it offends you that I cuss, if it offends you that I listen to ratchet music and gospel, then we don't have to vibe together. But that's just me. That's who I am. I'm very deeply spiritual. I have a deeply personal relationship with what I call God, which I'll talk about in a minute. I don't always call it God, but I also don't believe God is a man in the sky like Santa Claus doling out, gifts and presents for good behavior. So, anyway, God is not a man in the sky. Number one. Number two, if you're religious and I offend you, be gone. All right, moving on. And actually, Chatty told me to tell you, see, religion is a system, spirituality is a relationship, and I don't let anybody, especially no dusty DM preacher, dictate how I connect to the divine. I love Chatty. All right, anyway, moving on to, I kind of like that, the divine. I think that's what I'm gonna name all these beings or entities beyond the veil that I'm talking about. So let's say the divine is can be considered your inner voice or my inner voice, the universe, my higher self, my intuition, my ancestors, my angels, spirit guides, God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Goddess, the Most High, all supreme beings in the spirit realm, angels. I said angels already. Let's just call it the divine. I kind of like that. Um, so speaking of the divine, happy heavenly birthday to my cousin Bitsy. Today would have been her birthday, and I feel like cousin Bitsy is watching me and nodding like, "Yeah, girl, say it with your whole chest." So it feels really wonderful to be myself out here in the world and to not be pretending and hiding anymore. It feels phenomenal, and it feels liberating. So anyway, my DJ energy, INNERG, like God, or G like gangster, or like gangsta. Um, Speaking of ratchet music, and speaking of Bitsy's birthday, shout out to Trina and it's your birthday. Okay, all right. Girl, you're on fire. Want to hit it in the worst way? So that song was on my playlist this morning. I got to do some dancing at my desk and getting fired up for the day. Also, too, on my inner playlist, my cosmic playlist is Don't Worry, Be Happy. I know sometimes that's easier said than done, but sometimes it's also as simple as that. What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. Walking Away by Craig David. Such a beautiful song. He has such a beautiful voice. I love that whole album that he made, but Walking Away is a great song. Anything by Londrell. How Excellent I used in my soundtrack yesterday or 2 days ago by the Mississippi Mass Choir because I heard the song singing after I recorded my vlog. And then You're Always on My Mind by SWV. I know I mentioned it already, but most love songs can be repurposed to your relationship with the divine. And so if you can imagine a song like, "You're always on my mind," and just thinking that you're always on the mind of the divine, and then if you kept the divine always on your mind, I don't know, I just, anyway. All right, one more thing on this video and then we'll go to the next one. Some of the books and activities that I wanted to recommend, and I'm no guru. Let your inner spirit guide you to what you feel called to do. But The Artist's Way is a book that is awesome, and it says A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. Wonderful book. And so recommend that. And she also talks about playdates. I know when I first started reading that, it was hard for me because at the time, I think I was either married or just at the end of my marriage. And I was so used to doing everything with my husband at the time. And I didn't do things alone. And so she talks about doing artist dates or play dates in the book. And so one of the things I wanted to recommend, if you're the type of person who was like me, I'm not like this anymore, but was afraid to go out and do play dates. Here's one of the activities that I recommend is coloring. I have my coloring books. I have a whole bunch of them, and I have my pens. I even used to have crayons, and that's a totally relaxing thing to do. Also, I like to paint. And then another key thing that she talks about in the Artist Way is doing morning pages, which is journaling. I also recommend that in addition to journaling, you may want to consider doing 6 impossible things, which basically means writing down 6 things that could be possible to happen in your life. And that's from Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. And he talks about that, and I love to do that. It's like taking your imagination into possibilities of 6 things that may be seem impossible, but that could happen. And it just takes your mind into a different space. I also recommend adding a couple pages or a couple prompts to just write down things that you're grateful for. So I'm going to pause here because I'm at 6 minutes, and I'll continue with some books in the next video.